So, Nick, you asked for a review of the 2013-14 comms plan and then some proposals to take forward for the coming year for the comms plan. So I've pulled a presentation together. I'll hand that out at the end, and then there's also a couple of additional handouts that goes into further detail on some of the targets and measurements. So, a review of the previous year. So, the communications goals and objectives that were set out, the first one was around positioning. Obviously, you can read for yourselves here, but it was all about positioning the ICC Birmingham as the leading convention centre in the UK, and a number of ways that that could potentially be achieved. So, a summary of the media coverage from April 2013 to March 2014. We had 40 articles with a total circulation of over 840,000, and that was worth an advertising value equivalent of more than £71,000. So some pretty impressive figures. And when we go forward looking into next year, we can obviously benchmark against this. And in the handout, there's a breakdown of the details of that coverage if you're interested. So some examples of key pieces of coverage. Neatpie.com is one of our key target digital media spaces, and there's a couple of nice pieces of coverage there. CNIT magazine, there was a double page spread in the January issue around the Honda event. Some online coverage for CNIT for various corporate clients. Conference news, various pieces of coverage on their website. And we have agreed some coverage that still will fall into this financial year. So for CNIT magazine, they're going to use our Iceland event as a case study in the April issue. Conference News have agreed to do a follow-up to the National Farmers Union piece that they did last year. MNIT, I've agreed an exclusive with them to announce the Vox, and also the Body by Vi recent launch event held at the ICC is going to be part of a massive meeting feature. In terms of positioning, it was really important that the ICC brand perception was changed and that it really focused around welcoming, inspiring and creative. The Shape and Create marketing campaign supported those messages, and the role of comms was really to reinforce those messages again. So, in terms of how that was achieved, we had 13 articles featuring the welcoming message, 17 inspiring and 10 that featured creative. They could be a combination of, it could be one of those messages, it could be all three. And again, that's broken down further on an article by article basis in the handout. In terms of a regional focus, the aim and objective was to really highlight the ICC's importance to the region, be that financially and as the venue of choice within the area, and to really promote any unique selling points in the regional business press. Some examples of this here. So on the businessdesk.com for the West Midlands, and also on Midlands Business News, 2 pieces of coverage that have been achieved and that hit those objectives. Now, breaking down further into the tactics, tools and activities that were proposed for last year. So one of the objectives around media relations was to increase engagement with key contacts. Key relationships have been established, particularly with our 3 main target publications, CNIT, MNIT and Conference News. Case studies, so we wanted to utilise case studies to really showcase our expertise and to reinforce the key themes and messages and the types of events that we can put on at the venue. The outcome of that was 5 case studies were produced, including the British Orthopaedic Association, the National Farmers Union, amongst others, and they were used in the target publications. News stories, there was an objective there to share good news around the ICC, and as mentioned earlier, over 40 pieces of coverage were secured. Features, so we wanted to share best practice and showcase our expertise, bringing the ICC pride into that. There was a Conference News article featuring Kath Newell-Cager, And there was quite a lot of work done with yourself, Paul, on an ICC Pride piece for Constance News. Unfortunately, they didn't go forward and use that, but we have that piece of work that we can use with another publication. In terms of thought leadership, so positioning key members of the team as industry experts. There are a number of articles that have positioned the team as experts, but in terms of true thought leadership, I don't feel that that objective has really been achieved, and that's something that I'm going to look at when proposing the comms plan for the coming year and really address and focus on that. Awards, Claire and I have got a setup that we're quite comfortable with, whereby the marketing team lead on awards, and my function is really supporting and promoting that. And the outcome of this was the M&IT Awards. We were awarded bronze, and we did a lot of promotion on social media and in PR of that. Social media, it was positioned as maximising opportunities to engage with media, and actually I really think that we can take that further and utilise it with clients, so that's something that I'm going to come on to when looking ahead again. But in terms of the outcome, the activity and followers were increased for both Twitter and LinkedIn. Brand awareness in the region was targeted to increase sales, and there were 10 pieces of regional coverage that really reinforce us as the venue of choice within the Midlands. And in terms of a regional stakeholder programme, engaging with key businesses and partner agencies, some really great links have been made with Marketing Birmingham, resulting in Lisa Cook starring in one of their latest marketing campaigns. So that was a summary of the year to date, and now we're going to move on to proposals for the coming year. We've taken a similar approach because we don't want to rewrite history. Our positioning is still quite similar, but it's just focusing on those areas that we can really get more from and maximise. So, just a reminder here to manage everyone's expectations of the time allocation available for this. My time that I have to spend on the ICC really equates to 2 days a week, and comms exec support for half a day. It's just important to say here as well that the box is obviously coming into this as well and will be managed within these time frames. So we just need to consider that when setting out our objectives. As you know, I work quite quickly, so we can do a lot in those 2 days. So, I've looked at the ICC brand research to really focus the key messages for the year and to set those based on the good work that Claire's team have been doing. The ICC should be known for being professional, high quality, welcoming, should also be known for its location and for its team. And the extra thing that needs to really come into that, which perhaps doesn't exist, is to be known for being innovative, and that's a real area that we want to focus in on. As you can see, the ICC should seek to improve competitiveness and flexibility of its pricing, in the opinion of those asked. We don't do offers and discounts. Our pricing is fairly flexible, but in terms of competitive, our venue is a bit more expensive than some others. So I think where we need to work on that is how we can make that work for us and add in value, and you'll see that in the key messages. And then the key drivers of perceptions here, so the staff, the location and the building. I've also looked at the BMEIS survey and pulled a few key themes out of there, again to feed into the key messages and make sure that we are targeting what event organisers are saying. So added value as the most popular incentive, that ties back to what I was saying about where perhaps we can't be as flexible on pricing and offering discounts. We can absolutely make our customers and clients feel like they're getting additional value with the things that they're getting from the ICC. Access, location and price as the top influencing factors. We're really well placed in terms of access and location, so we can shout loud and clear about that. Capacity of conference facilities has been identified as more important than quality and has come above availability, which I find quite strange because quality and availability are really important. But what they're saying is, if we want a space for 200 people, you don't want to be crammed into a space for 150. So when you look at it in that way, it makes sense. And again, luckily for us, we can really harbour that. We've got lots of flexible event space, so we can really communicate that message. And free Wi-Fi. again, we thought that was perhaps a given, you know, venues have free Wi-Fi, you come to expect that, but we just need to make sure from a PR and comms perspective that we are really communicating that message, because it's an opportunity. And actually that was the reason that clients are most dissatisfied with the venue as well, when they don't have free Wi-Fi. Okay, so the proposed key messages. Access and location, really focusing in on the connectivity for the motorways, the rail, the air, being in the centre and the heart of a city and everything that goes with that in terms of hotel space, culture, entertainment. Going back to this adding value, so in terms of our AV equipment perhaps, hybrid events that we're moving into, the expertise of the team, the dedicated account manager, all those things that make the client feel like they're getting more for their money. Innovation, so how we do things differently at the ICC, how we think about creative solutions for clients, and ICC pride. Our people are key to everything we do. They're the people that reinforce that welcoming, creative, inspiring message, and it's really just making sure that we put our people at the forefront of everything we do. And again, just looking at an industry survey to check that our target publications are correct. M&IT, still the most widely read, followed by C&IT, and just to note, an increased use of digital media. Event magazines perhaps not quite right for the ICC because it's more exhibition-led, but meetpie.com, absolutely. Which leads on to the proposed target media. There's lots going on this slide. You don't need to read all of that, but it's just focusing on trade media, but also bringing the digital element in. International, which could become more of a focus, isn't at the moment, but that's there. Looking at both regional in terms of print and digital, TV and radio, and then national press as well. So, objectives remain fairly similar in terms of positioning and using those key messages that we've talked about to really reinforce that. Relationships have been established with some of the key trade titles, so it's really about establishing, nurturing those further and making sure that the digital elements become a focus. And continuing to work closely with clients on case studies like the Honda case study that we saw that really promotes the ICC's events, and still making sure that within the regional press we have a voice. Supporting Claire's team on the marketing campaigns and using those to reinforce the messages, and making sure that those regional relationships with partner agencies are continued and developed. And then finally, by no means least, launching the Vox to the UK media, raising awareness of that new conference facility and really reinforcing those messages and building that all the way up to launch. Tactics and metrics. So again, we've got a media...
Just watch your time.
Okay, thanks. There's a lot to cover. Media relations programme, nurturing those relationships. We've taken from 5 case studies to 8 for the metric this time, increasing the news stories with the same objective from 40 to 50 pieces of coverage, and really focusing in on this thought leadership programme and thinking about how we can make that work for us and how we can share that best practice. And a realistic target, I think, here is 3 strong thought leadership pieces. Social media, as I discussed, just really expanding on not only media but also with clients as well, and there's some separate metrics in place for that one. Regional PR, continuing to reinforce those messages, but taking that from 10 pieces to 20 pieces of coverage, and continuing with the regional stakeholder programme. Awards, doing more of the same and really improving on last year's M&IT outcome of bronze and pushing that hopefully to gold. This year we have the Conservative Party conference, and there will be specific metrics, and that will be dealt with at a separate meeting because it needs a great focus, but it's absolutely an opportunity for us to leverage for coverage, and supporting the team on industry exhibitions and increasing the number of stand visits. Just to reinforce really the importance of social media in the industry, there's a number of stats here from the survey that identify how important it is to clients, both corporate and associations. So specific social media targets, you can really see how we've moved it on already, and there's some quite stretching targets in place there. The positioning here really is to just say that it's more about quality than quantity.